What's up everyone, I'm Demon Cringe, and it looks like Nintendo has announced that they'll still be attending E3 2020. Yes everyone. Also, today's Valentine's Day, hope you're having a really wonderful time with your special someones and all that. Now, honestly, my whole opinion on this whole thing, Nintendo going to E3 and all, it's honestly kind of pointless, to be totally honest, because Nintendo has their own Nintendo Directs and all that, and if they really wanted to, they could just do another one of those to showcase some new content and all that. They do it pretty frequently, so that's really nice. But yeah, again, E3 has been dipping in relevancy even more and all that. Originally, they were sort of like a private, screening of new games and all that stuff. People were highly speculating and predicting what's going to be on next year. And now it's basically nothing more than just a typical convention. Not that that's a bad thing, but it definitely deviated from its original purpose, and it has been showing not only are less and less people interested in E3, but also companies as well, Sony being one of them. As of now, Sony has skipped 2 E3s, this being the second one, and this is definitely looking to become a reoccurring trend with not only Sony, but with other companies as well. So yeah, with that being said, let's get on with this. It says, despite not appearing on a leaked E3 2020 participants list, Nintendo will still be attending this year's convention. E3 news was shared by Entertainment Software Association, which organizes E3, and a press release which also listed Xbox among the participants. The letter brand was absent from the initial participants, but it had previously confirmed it would be attending the show. We're going to be taking a look at that leaked participants list later on. First, let's finish up this one. If it follows its E3 strategy in recent years, it means that a long Nintendo Direct presentation is followed by several days of gameplay and interviews during Nintendo Treehouse Live. The company stopped doing live press conferences in E3 2013 and has used the pre-recorded videos ever since. Upcoming Nintendo Switch games include Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. There's also an animated Mario film in the works at Illumination, and a theme park coming to several Universal Studios location. Thing is, this whole animated Mario movie, they honestly could have picked a much better studio than Illumination of all things. I think we can all agree that Illumination is by far one of the most cancerous studios in animation and all that. But that's besides the point, I digress. Press conference dates are still largely up in the air for E3 2020, but what we do know is Limited Run Games will be holding its own conference on June 8th, as Sony will not bring PlayStation to E3 this year, and it was the case back in E3 2019, but the show will feature Bethesda, Square Enix, Capcom, Ubisoft, Activision, Take-Two, and several other major publishers. One notable absence from E3 2020 is producer Jeff Keighley, who is also responsible for the Game Awards. Keighley shared that he wouldn't be participating in the show on February 12th, adding that he did not feel comfortable participating given what he knows about the show so far. Along with PlayStation, Electronic Arts has largely abandoned E3 as this console generation in favor of its own EA Play events, as its name is absent from ESA's material and will likely be holding its own event again in June. E3 runs from June 9th to 11th. So there you go with this bit of news. Over here it also mentions Limited Run Games, which will be holding its own conference, and that's something else that's going to be happening more and more. A lot of these companies, you're going to see them host their own events. Nintendo has a Nintendo Direct, and of course EA, even though we hate their guts, they are doing the smart thing of holding their own live events and all that. That's all well and good. So now let's take a look at this whole leaked E3 participants list. Okay, so over here it says the official E3 2020 website has leaked a day ahead of schedule. The website confirms several biggest attendees, though a few noticeable omissions suggest this far from complete. Spotted by forum users on Reset Era, the official E3 2020 website was briefly live before being locked behind a password. It contained a participating companies list, which we included below, and of course over here we have the list of companies. From top to bottom we have Activision, Amazon Game Studios, that's a new thing, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Capcom, Epic Games. Oh boy, we all love Epic Games, don't we, folks? Calypso Media, the guys that made Tropico, a really good game. NCSoft, RDS Industries, Sega, of course, Square Enix, Take-Two, Tencent. Oh yeah, Tencent's so goddamn amazing, am I right, everyone? THQ Nordic, Ubisoft, Unnamed VR by Paracosma, okay, that's weird. Warner Brothers Interactive and Xseed Games, I haven't heard of them honestly. And that's the whole list of companies. So yeah, like the article says, this isn't the full list and all that. It continues with, though Microsoft is absent from the list, the company confirmed that Xbox would have a presence at the show back in January. Nintendo also has been a staple of E3 for decades, despite moving to its pre-recorded Nintendo Direct presentations in 2013. The list is incomplete and will continue to be updated with more companies, and we've reached out to Nintendo representatives for confirmation. Sony previously confirmed they will not be attending E3. The company also skipped last year's event and will likely have its presentation elsewhere as we approach the PS5 launch later this year. EA has been a notable absence over the last few years, instead running its own EA Play celebration currently with E3. The E3 website also makes mention of enhanced security features for the media, including new registration processes, and the personal data will not be stored on the website. This comes from Massive Information, leaked to the ESA, storing E3 2019's attendees' personal information where the public could access it, and that's also one of the new biggest reasons why E3 is failing so miserably. E3 2020 is scheduled to run from June 9th to 11th. Thus far, only limited run games confirmed the press conference time. And there you go, everyone. And those are the 2 bits of news for today. Like I said, you're gonna start seeing more and more companies, you know, start doing their own presentations, you know, Sony, yeah, they're gonna do their own, and Nintendo should basically step away from E3 and do their own Nintendo Directs from now on. And EA, even though we hate their guts, you know, they are doing the smart thing of hosting their own live things and all that. Ultimately, it's nothing more than a net benefit for these companies, because if you do your own live event, all of the attention is going to be focused on you. Like, you may be presenting your own stuff at E3, but you may find yourself that a good number of people may not be there to see that particular thing, so it's kind of a bust, you know, a bit of a waste of money. I really do hope that, you know, E3, if they really do want to stay relevant, you know, they should basically just switch away from the whole, you know, like new gaming presentation thing to basically just a, you know, just a convention for gamers, because that's pretty much what it's become. And yeah, anyway everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the bell icon, and if you wish to support me, my page, link is in the description below. And as always, I am Demon Cringe, and I'll be seeing you guys else in the next video.